Right. Hello and welcome to live day number 8 here. Today is going to be all about content creation for social media. So, whether you are posting to LinkedIn, like we've been talking about, doing X or Facebook content, this will even help you if you are going through the process of creating your Instagram captions. And I'm not going to pretend like I know much about TikTok and short form videos. But when it comes to text content, that is what today is all about. And even if you don't have a social media strategy in place or you don't plan on starting one, it is important because the principles that we are talking about here and the way you create social media content has a lot of overlap with a piece of content that you are going to create and that you are going to have to learn how to write for yourself for now until you close your business, and that is email. So whether you're creating social media content or writing emails that actually build a relationship and people actually want to read, this is the stream for you. So let's go ahead and jump in here. Awesome to see you again, Kevin. Go ahead and drop a comment letting me know where you guys are tuning in from, and then just letting me know that you're actually here. So I've finally figured out OBS Player. Look at that. Look at that. We actually started within the first 5 minutes, and it didn't take me it didn't take me 5 minutes to get the next screen to work. You do see the awkwardness of the second screen. So if you're ever looking for a portable screen, the Asus Zen Screen series, this thing has lasted since I got this guy in 2019, still going strong. As we dive into the content here, I'm just pulling up my chat so I can see that, and then hiding my face because it's always weird to talk when you can see your preview. Kevin from Lakeland, Florida. Awesome to have you. Awesome to have you. And if you have any questions or want some insights on your own niche when it comes to content creation, just go ahead and drop those in the comments. So where we are in terms of our 30-day challenge, I'll do this very quickly and then we'll get into content creation because that's the fun part. We're actually we're doing day 11 and 12. So we're kind of combining the Thursdays and Fridays on the plan, because as you'll see after today, your next 2 Thursdays would be just creating content. So we don't need to do a stream creating content again. So in this particular guide, we're going to, of course, go through more on content creation. Yesterday was all about how to create your first post. So what we'll do is we'll go through the 4 ingredients you need, your customer avatar, your journey, and then we'll actually we'll scroll down here and we'll do a very, very quick dive on the customer awareness journey and how that's vital to your long-term success writing emails and, of course, creating social content. And the best, simplest way to put the importance of this is you've probably read a post and gone, that is the most basic information ever. Why would anyone find value in this? And then I'll admit, because I try to watch AI dev videos, and I'll go, I got maybe 10% of that, but at least I understand what maybe the cutting edge of AI people or the developers are doing with AI. Like, I can't code it all. So the reason I bring up those 2 examples, either you have no idea what's going on, me watching dev videos about AI, or you reading a post on, like, I don't know, 5 ways to lose weight or something. The first one's like, count your calories. Okay, nothing new. Thank you. That's where the awareness journey comes in, because we want to make sure that when we write content, whether it's our personal story, whether we're providing a lesson, that it meets our customer where they are. Because if you write a post, a lot of social posts live in these categories and they get mass market appeal. But when it comes to actually getting customers, especially if you're doing any sort of coaching, you want to be creating content down here or creating a mix of it. So we'll go through the awareness journey, and then we'll also go through psychographics number 1 here. And that's just going to be, what are the results and roadblocks your ideal customers care about? And so this is a very simple, by the way, AI is doing all this for us. It's not like you have to do this from scratch anymore. And so all of this information essentially creates this database of who your customer is, and then you give it to AI, and then it can go ahead and write your posts. So if I scroll all the way down here, we'll go ahead and use our 3 basic post concepts. Shameless plug for our smart content kit linked up in the description. 83% off through tonight. It ends tonight. So if you're watching the replay, the discount is the discount's over. But if you're really serious about creating content, definitely check that out. Lots of AI prompts in there, way more templates than what we're going through here. And of course, there is a GPT along the way by popular request. So that is what we're going to do today. I've got a couple of LinkedIn profiles set up as well. I don't think Neil's going to copyright me for showing his shorts. But we have some people that, of course, you can learn from here, and we'll go through that, and then how to actually go through your niche and find relevant information that's going to help you better create your posts. What a profound statement, right? And of course, I'll go ahead and now that we've got this is what we're doing today, the huge shout out and thank you to Go High Level for sponsoring not only this video, but the entire series. You can see here, this is my Go High Level account, and you can actually schedule out your posts. So you can see I got next week's LinkedIn posts all scheduled out and ready to go. So at the top of the description in the chat and in the description for the replay, you can click the link and learn a little bit more about what High Level can do. It's all-in-one marketing platform, does everything you need in one place, so you can focus on growing your email list, delivering your products and services. And then, of course, if you join via our link, you get access to everything that you're seeing in this video, along with our funnel templates and live workflow calls and a private community room where you can ask me questions directly, and I can jump on Google Meet and we can get a lot more detailed than what I can do on just a kind of a one-way live stream. And we have some cool bonuses if you decide to upgrade and actually purchase High Level. But unlike some of the other offers you may have seen, we give you all the access and all the templates straight out of the gate, so you can see if High Level is right for you. So again, link in the description. So when it comes to creating content, there are only 4 ingredients that you need to be successful in creating your content. And once you have these 4, then all of the fun, more advanced things that you can do, like going to LinkedIn or going to X, finding other social posts, and starting to like decode how other creators create their content, becomes significantly easier. So at the risk of kind of repeating what I may have done on other streams, I'll quickly go through what the 4 ingredients are. So of course, the first ingredient is simply, who is our ideal customer? We spent an entire stream on that. And then what is the big result they're after? What is the big roadblock they're after? Now, to write your first, month or 2 of posts, this is probably all you need for the first 3 ingredients. We'll go through expanding them, of course. And then you also, when you're using AI to create content, you also want to give it your hero journey. You want to give it information about who you are as a creator, as a person, so that it can start weaving your personal stories into your content. And so what I'll do is we'll actually start off by just writing a post so you can see my process. I'm going to go through it rapid fire, and then we'll start adding on layers to it so you can see how the post can improve and your ideas can expand. So I'm going to use our GPT that's free with the 30-day trial via our link. But of course, you can always, let me go back here. You can always watch the replay, screenshot this. This is a basic prompt, but you can screenshot this and ask AI to come up with concepts for you just by sharing this screenshot. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, screenshot, done. There you go. Hopefully I'm not blocking any important information. I'm supposed to be in the top right corner. So what we'll do is when you come to this GPT, or you're starting for the first time, you will upload the screenshot. I've asked it to go ahead and create a content plan for me. Obviously, it's going off the rails and doing way more than it needs to. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask it to use my customer information. And you can see here, using our big result, roadblock, and my story, we'll be able to start to create some awesome content. So I'm going to come in here. It's going to be a little quiet for a moment because I have some copy paste. Let me know in the chat if you prefer if I just queued all this up. But one of the reasons that I've started to copy paste on the stream is because I've noticed some other YouTube videos, and this might just be me over analyzing, where they kind of cut out the processing time, or they'll try and edit the video so it flows better, but then you can tell like they did some stuff off camera or off edit, and then you're like, well, how did you actually get that result though? Because I didn't see what you actually copied and pasted. And so that's part of why I am doing this so manually. But you can let me know if, like, Jason, we believe that you're not, making stuff up, or we get it. We don't need to see you copy and paste every little thing. But here we go. So what roadblock is getting in their way? I just got to reorganize this a little bit. We used to, oh boy, we used to have this in a Google Sheet. And the feedback I got is, no, we don't like the Google Sheet. So we'll go ahead and, oops, do that. Lack of a clear. I'm not crazy. There we go. Here we go. There we go. The mouse placement doesn't help either. What is, oh, it's disappearing. There we go. Okay. And then that does it for our initial 4 ingredients. So boy, oh boy, GPT, come on. All right, here we go. Run 5 concepts for each post type. And of course, this GPT has some info, so it'll run through it. Okay, cool. So the way I would go about, sorry, just switching mouses. The way I would go about doing creating a piece of content is, of course, saying, hey, start by coming up with a concept that I can run with, right? And so you'll see we're going to start with a lot of ideas, and then we're going to slowly whittle them down. But since this is a little repetitive from yesterday, I'm going to go through it relatively quickly, so then you can see how you can expand and improve this process. And so if we look at these ideas here, I just gave it my, I forgot to give it my customer, so I forgot ingredient number 1. But ingredient number 2 is the big result, number 3 is the roadblock, and number 4 is a little bit about me and my journey. The other cool thing is GPT is getting a lot better at memory. So the more you use it, the more it's going to remember who you are. But it's always a good idea to have some sort of document like this where you store your important information. And by the way, you can just upload this as an attachment. So you don't have to copy and paste. You just upload it as an attachment, and then GPT reads it and it goes off with whatever it is that you're working on for the day. So it's coming with some educational how-to posts, behind the scenes, emotional connections, proof and authority, and some engagement conversion starters. Unless you're good, you already feel confident with your post creation. Whenever you see engagement, conversation starters, call to action suggestions from GPT, I'd ignore them. Most of the time, they come across pretty salesy and really lowbrow content. And this is where GPT, even when we create our own versions of it, does not understand what garbage content is. It's just trained on everything. So we have to tell it, like, ignore that. That's a bad example. So let's see. I would say if we look at these and see what the examples here, the arrival myth, I'm going to do, I like this one. South Korea. I don't know. It's really obsessed with me being in South Korea for some reason. I'm in the Philippines right now. From burnout to background sales that changed funnels forever. Illustrate the client call that changed my funnels forever. So I think I would go forward with this one. But if you look through all of these, like, you only need one concept to play with. So the next step is asking for, please come up with 5 hooks for these concepts. And you'll see why we do, whoops, I apparently did not copy and paste what I wanted. So if we come down here, we have the arrival myth. So I'll run with this concept, and then I will work from anywhere. See, and then there's some things like how to keep your funnels running while traveling. Of course, funnels are automated. They're working whatever you're doing. If I just can't see what GPT will come up with for that. So the 5-minute offer audit, see if your product is funnel ready. I feel like GPT is being lazy today, but that's okay. And these ones are the best, from burnout to background sales. All right, this I could do a story on, like doing sales calls, and then a realization of, oh, digital products make a fourth of the income as getting on the phone with somebody, but my gosh, do I feel great. And so you have your menu. We've now asked GPT to come up with some hooks, and think of this as like, what is the cover of the book going to be before we make the book? That's pretty much it. Because if the cover isn't compelling, if it doesn't stop someone scrolling, if it doesn't stop someone in, Barnes and Noble, I'm sure they still exist. They're walking through, there's a sea of books, there's a sea of posts. We need something that grabs people's attention. And if we don't have a good concept that we think is going to grab people's attention, then there's no point in writing the rest of the post. And so here we see the arrival myth, and it has a bunch of hooks. I feel like I wrote a post about this recently, so I'm going to skip that one. 5-minute offer audit, before you spend $1, run this 5-minute test. This quick audit saved me $2,000 in ad spend. I'm not sure if I ever was in a situation like that, but I could just adjust it to wasting thousands on ad spend, right? Just make it a little more broad so I don't have to worry about like going to my ad account and making sure I'm not lying. And then from burnout to background sales, a before and after lifestyle snapshot for automated funnels, never going back. Burnout made me hate my business. Okay. This one's pretty compelling. It's a little generic for my niche. You've probably seen something like, I used to work so hard and then I got this software and everything's magical and I make so much money. Yeah, because business just is selling the software and the dream of the business instead of running your own. You're like, so you're admitting that you couldn't run a business without just teaching other people how to run the business you couldn't run yourself. It's kind of weird. But in all honesty, agency work is a lot of fun, but it's just so much more stressful. So from chained to my desk to sipping coffee with Stripe notifications rolling in, that's pretty lame. The moment I stopped chasing the next launch, everything changed. Okay. And this gets into customer awareness as well, because if someone's brand new to creating an online business, stop chasing the next launch, they're not even going to launch of what? Someone who's done product launches will go, oh yeah, I'm sick of being stuck in product launches. But if someone is stuck in product launches, they're already doing 6K a year. And so that wouldn't be my audience for this post. So I'm going to go ahead and say this. Now this is the key. So we've got our hook, but we need to see if GPT can actually back it up. So we're going to ask for 5 light bulb moments. Came up with this when I was writing a email for you guys last night, or this morning. The email I sent this morning had this idea in it. So we're going to say, I like this hook. Brainstorm 3. Let brainstorm 5. Brainstorm 5. We'll say light bulb moments. The meat of the you can tell I'm being real scientific with my prompt here. So I'll hit enter and then scroll up. So you can see here, I like this hook. Brainstorm 5 light bulb moments, the meat of the post, so readers get real value and not fluff. So essentially, if we make this grandiose entrance like, hello, I swapped 60-hour work weeks for automated funnels. I'm never going back. Okay, that's a pretty robust statement, right? So, okay, how'd you do it? We don't want this to turn into a, well, I just purchased this software and then everything was fine. All right, you started up here and then your post just went straight down there, right? So we want to make sure there's an aha moment. There's something that is genuine, that kind of creates a genuine, oh, that's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. Just a little, oh, that's all you got to do with the post. We're not changing every aspect of someone's lives. It's just kind of like a, oh, okay, I didn't know that. So here we go. Busy. So this is going to be what we build the post around. So we kind of have we've got the general concept, we've got the starter, and so we're actually going to the middle and figuring out, making sure that we have something that's going to pay off whatever it is that we've chosen for our hook. And so busy, productive. I realized most of my work wasn't moving the needle. Hamster wheel. I cut everything directly. Nope. That's like this says nothing. this says nothing. Hello Think First Media. Awesome to have you back. And then for this concept, a funnel isn't just a sales tool, it's a delivery system for your value. When you set it up and run without you, every new lead, blah, 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 blah. So this is going to get into our discussion on customer awareness. And actually, I think I'll switch gears to that after we get this post, because if I'm thinking about my customer, who's going to find value in this? The person that doesn't know how a funnel works, doesn't know what funnel means, which means they probably didn't stop scrolling to read the post in the first place because they know what a funnel is. So they don't need to be told again. And let's go to one offer beats 10. I stopped juggling and made focus. Actually, I would reverse this. 10 offers beats 1. And then automate the first 80%. Awesome to have you aboard Think First Media. If I haven't messaged you, go ahead and send me a direct message, and we'll get you set up, and I'll get started working with you. So thank you so much for joining. That is awesome. And of course, feel free to post in the community as well. I'm trying to tell everyone, stop. If you join one of our communities, please post in the community. You don't have to email me. There's nothing like super sensitive. I get so many emails. I know. That's the funny part. Like, there's other softwares out there. They're like, everybody wants to be in a community. No, they don't. In my experience, most of the people in my community, whether they're in the paid or free versions of something, they just want an email. They don't want to share their personal business stuff with other people because it's a little embarrassing sometimes when you ask questions. But that's okay. We're going to create a place where you can just ask the question and then we can all learn from each other. All right. Anyway, automate your first 80%, personalize the last 20, automate lead generation nurtured, but still have a high touch moment. Okay. So that's going to be a different angle. System first, content second. Used to think more content, more sales. Ooh. Okay. I would actually go content second, content first, system second. So I have two concepts for GPT to work with here, but I've got to switch what it is thinking about. And again, we also have to think about where our customer is in their journey. And right after we get this post, I'll just dive into that because that's going to be something that's vitally important here because we have some that are off. So also, I should apologize for my slowness. These live streams have taken a lot more toll than I thought. And it is Thursday night, which means it's the last one of the week, and I'm just going to sleep all day Saturday. That's a lie. I'm just going to watch really lowbrow Adam Sandler movies or something that hopefully make me laugh. Automate, one offer beats 10. So our first concept, I'm going to say these are the two that I like. Please craft a refined 300-word meat section of the post. I'm sure there's a better word for meat, and I'm probably dating myself with a way boomers talk, but most of my clients were boomers, obviously. So this is the way I wind up talking. So are my parents. So please craft a refined 300-word meat, let's say value, core value section of the post for these concepts, right? So again, we're still not writing the whole post. So this is concept number 3 here. Concept number 3 here. And then I'm going to add a note at the end, but switch to 10 offers beats 1. Okay. So obviously I'm adding my own, insights here, and but I wouldn't have thought to talk about that unless AI had helped me. And then we have system first, content second. Again, I'm going to switch it, and I'm going to say, so concept number 5 here. So I'm going to, in brackets, I should say note, switch them, content first, okay. You can tell I type a lot faster if I'm not trying to talk at the same time. So we started with our concepts, we got our hooks. We say, hey AI, how are we going to deliver on these hooks so people don't feel like our posts are fluff and AI slop? And then out of the 5, we have, these are the 2 concepts that I think are going to work the best. And then I just gave it some notes of my own personal way of thinking, right? And so this is also a good example of one of the reasons I think a lot of people struggle with AI is because they're not an expert themselves. So AI works really well as an augmenter to your knowledge, as something that can kickstart that blank page. But if you don't have the knowledge in the first place, you got to go learn all that stuff before you use AI. Otherwise, like if I didn't have the personal experience, I might post 1 offer beats 10. That's not true. 10 offers beats 1 every single time. Or system first, content second. That's also not true. Content first, system second. I actually did this when I started, and it didn't work out well. So looking at chat, Think First Media. Last night's live stream was great. All of them were good, but last night was really good. Awesome. Thank you so much, Think First. Hopefully I can get close to that. Again, I'm quite tired, running on fumes. So here's what AI has done now is it's taken that kind of like, hey, this is the core value of your post. And then I've just said you got 300 words to expand it, right? Because we're going to have, 30 words in the hook in the intro. And then we're going to have maybe another 20 to 30 words in the outro or call to action. So we're looking at a 360 word post or so. And so I say 10 offers beats 1. When I started, I fell for the perfect course trap. Why? Because each low ticket offer is a test. It's less risk. If you hit 3, double down. Those become the foundation of bigger bundles, recurring products. In other words, I let the market vote with their dollars before I build the empire. Okay, cool. I would probably do some adjustments in terms of, like, before I build the empire, maybe a little gimmicky for LinkedIn, but that's okay. Age of Empires was my favorite game, so there you go. Actually, I could do if I really wanted to have fun with this, I could build on the empire concept and try and find some screenshots of Age of Empires, and then somehow ask GPT to come up with concepts kind of making fun of the Age of Empires game in, building castles and building businesses and building digital products or something like that. And I think AOE was popular enough that at least millennials and up will understand it. I don't know. But again, I would only do that because I actually played the game. Like, I wouldn't make a Minecraft joke because I don't understand that at all. So here we go. Content first, then systems. So here's the second shift. I used to obsess over funnels. Okay, so this is where GPT messed up. It says, here's the second shift. So it's connected these two, even though I did not ask it to. So that's kind of annoying, but we can fix that. Here's the second shift. I'd spend weeks designing a lead magnet only to watch it collect dust. Now I flip it. I start with content, post, blah, blah, blah. If you like, now I can wrap this into a LinkedIn post. Yeah, so it thinks this is one post. It's not, it's two. So I'm just going to have to politely let it know that this is two different posts. And so because, and this is the I had like a 2-hour conversation with a fellow entrepreneur about this. So I'm going to have to do a training, but AI has forgotten that we're supposed to make multiple posts. So what we need to do, I know this is silly, we need to come all the way back up here. I swapped 60 hour. Oh, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. I forgot that I only had one concept. So actually what I'm going to do is ask it to split it. So I'm just going to ask it to split it. Okay. I'm going to say, all right, please split these into two. All right. So here's how we start, go getting AI to go down the route we want. So I'm going to say, please split. I don't know, maybe split spelled with an E today. Those two different fully done LinkedIn posts, they will not be connected. Then suggest 5 more based upon the feedback I've given you. So essentially, hey, AI, analyze how I'm speaking to you, what I like and what I'm ignoring, and then give me some more concepts. So we're at 2 out of the 3. So we got to get to 3 today. Maybe it's 2025 and people don't freak out about that anymore. So 10 offers beat 1 hook. I stopped betting everything on a $300 course, started selling $10, $15 offers instead. Okay, we need to workshop that a bit. That's a bit clunky, but that's okay. If you ever look at something and go, this feels a bit clunky, you can say something like, write this like a direct response marketer, and you'll get something super salesy, but it will be punchy. And then you can kind of play with it with some more. Body, when I started, made a classic mistake, building the perfect flagship product. I think I did that twice. It was embarrassing. Nobody ever bought the first one I made. And then content first, then systems. I used to build the funnel first, then wonder why nobody signed up. Maybe I would change this to offer because it would be a broader market appeal. And if I think about my customer journey, more people understand the concept of creating an offer or creating a product than understand the concept of funnel, right? So if I wanted to go broader market appeal, I need to change the word to product because it's going to make sense to more people. But if I'm being more targeted in who I want to talk to, like the majority of the people on the stream probably have heard the concept of funnel because I talk a lot about funnels, but you had to hear it somewhere first. And so if you haven't heard what a funnel is yet, you probably just scroll past this and go, build a funnel. I don't really understand what that, I don't really understand what that means. So again, customer journey thinking, we'll go through that in a moment. So let's see, body. Funnels are great, but they're useless if nobody cares about what's inside. Very true. So I'd go through and read this, just make sure that this is actually something that I would do or based upon my experience. Call to action. Now, both of these posts, they're incredibly short. And so what they're missing is a personal story from me, a personal story from you. And so that's where you would want to, I'm going to keep going with the beef metaphor. Wendy's, where's the beef? That's where I would beef up this concept. And if you don't have a story idea, that's okay. AI can brainstorm it for you. Just highlight the post, right? highlight the post. Come on, and GPT lets you quote, and then say, please brainstorm some personal story ideas because I want to make this more personable. And then it will give you a list and you can look at it and see if there's anything that's remotely close to your personal experience, and really is remotely close. AI can help you weave that in. You don't need to spend too much time on it, but it is a good way to make sure that your posts are better. So the ones we did in the last live stream, I think are better because they're a little on the longer side. But if you're doing 5 in like 1 hour, this is good to go. Call to action. If you're stuck in product mode, drop in the comments. I'll send you my $15 offer testing framework. Obviously, you probably don't have a lead magnet. So I would ask AI to come up with another call to action, a question that you could quickly answer. And so that way, kind of like on this live stream, I ask you, where you're tuning in from, what is your niche or industry, so I can answer your questions, right? You want to do the same thing with your comment or with your content because you want comments. Engagement is good. Unless you don't plan on engaging. I'm just so busy right now. I don't engage as much as I should on LinkedIn. And so I don't end my post telling people to comment because I'm in a different time zone. So it's always going to be like a 12-hour delay. And I am terrible at getting back to comments on LinkedIn. So do keep that in mind. And then for our second post concept here, I'll DM it to you. The other thing I guess you could say is, you can say drop a comment first in the content first in the if you're doing any sort of coaching or consulting, or you just want to start some conversations to see where people are at and learn about your customers, then instead of saying I'll DM it to you, I'll DM 5 ideas for your niche. And because you're posting on LinkedIn or X, you can just go to their profile. You can see what their niche or industry is. If you have this access to this GPT, just pop it in and be like, hey, Jason said I should figure out 5 lead magnet ideas for this potential client. Give me some ideas how Jason would do it. Of course, obviously that would only work in this GPT, but you could do something general in your own AI as well. And then you just shoot them directly 5 ideas and you get a conversation going. Obviously, if you're not doing coaching or services, consulting, that's a waste of time, but that's another potential call to action. So we've got 2 posts, so we need 3 more. And so now it's given us some 5 more concepts. 1 post, 10 sales, why don't trust likes, the 24-hour product challenge, fail fast, scale faster. So if I chose, if I do 1 through 3, here's what I would do. I'm going to be really lazy. I'm going to say, please write these 3 posts for me. For LinkedIn. All right. I really should add more, but we're gonna cross our fingers that we get something good. So post number 1, why don't trust likes? Likes won't pay your bills. Here's what I tracked instead. For years, saves bookmarks, DMs, replies, opt-in conversions, the percent of people who go from interested to giving you their email, likes or applause. These metrics are interest with skin in the game. Again, late millennial up to boomer speak, but that's okay. If you want my full pre-launch checklist, comment and I'll send it over later. Obviously the calls to action, you don't even stress over it. Like seriously, your first month, just delete the calls to action and just post the content, see what happens. Just want to get this done as quickly as possible, right? And so we have the 24-hour product challenge from idea to first sale in 1 day. Here's how. Morning, midday, afternoon, evening. So this is a concept we kind of talked about yesterday, where we have to be careful with towing the line between telling people what to do and towing the line between only telling people what to do. Don't fall into the how-to category because it's a long post. Nobody wants to read that. But then when you say what to do, it does have to be reasonable, right? And so for this particular framework, I would actually rename it. The way I would fix this, because this isn't going to work, but the way I would fix this is like this Super Saturday product framework or something like that. Or Simple Saturday, something else with an S, so you have some alliteration. Simple Saturday, framework, or you'd workshop it a little bit, but essentially call out that this is for a Saturday. And so it helps people kind of better understand. It helps people better frame that this is actually possible, because the concept of just making a product in one day, that makes no sense. But if we say, okay, here's your Simple Saturday roadmap, right? Your simple Saturday launch plan, morning, and then in parentheses, you could be tongue in cheek and be like, and then in parentheses, if this is, in your vernacular way of talking, you can make a joke that you probably don't wake up till like 10 or 11 a.m., right? Morning, or parentheses, an hour before lunch or something like that. Just make a joke to call out the fact that you're not waking up at 6 a.m. Because then that handles an objection of, well, Saturdays I like to sleep in like most people, right? Enjoy the Sabbath. So that's how I would change this part. And then in the evening, I would say schedule your email or social post for first thing Monday morning, right? And so sometimes you just have to take a little look at what AI gives you and go, okay, is this actually reasonable? Or are people going to look at this and go, yeah, that's BS, there's no way. And so 2 simple tweaks: make it clear it's Saturday, make some sort of joke that you don't start till 11 or 12 p.m. So people don't think they're waking up at 6 to do this. And then you're probably good to go. Fail fast, scale faster, body call to action. Okay, we're done. So that does it for our 5 posts. Let me go ahead and, by the way, you can always just ask AI to say, great, please do it in plain text format so I don't have to like copy this individually or accidentally forget that the body is in there, right? So I see we have 2 comments from Think First Media. AI is like brainstorming session on steroids. Very handy and when used correctly. And I completely agree. It's like a brainstorming on steroids, and very good at research, especially now that AI will actually give you a link to its source so you can verify what it's saying. And then Think First Media has another one here. People love value adds. Please don't sell them. Lead with something you can do for them that works miracles. With this AI, it makes your approach much easier. Okay, awesome insight. Totally agree. It doesn't work too well to have like 300 or 400 words of text and then say, hey, buy my $1,000 product. You're like, no, takes quite a bit longer than that. So if you have any questions on creating your posts or kind of this simple 4-ingredient process, your customer, the result thereafter, the roadblock, your story, generate some concepts for me, choose 3 or 4 concepts, create some hooks for me, choose 3 or 4 hooks, create the value add aha moment to back up those hooks. Okay, these are the 3 or 4 that I like. Go ahead and write a full LinkedIn post for me, or go ahead and write a full X thread for me, or Instagram caption, or write an email, right? Email is a little harder. Obviously, you should be more than well over 300 words. Like you should be closer to 500 or 700 words. And you do need a personal story in email. That's the whole point of broadcast email. So newsletters are different. That's just like a bunch of information. I think that's a different animal. But when it comes to broadcast emails where you're growing a relationship with your list, personal story is the reason to send those. That's also why I don't send very many, is because I don't like the emails that could have been like a blog post. I get those sometimes, and I don't think those work as well. So I'm going to hop back over here. I'm going to hop back over here, and we're going to go through something called the awareness journey. So again, looking at our 30-day roadmap, we've talked pretty much all about content the last 3 days and today. And then we're also going to touch on what you would be, if you were following this challenge day by day, what you would do next after you've created your 3 to 5 posts for a week. But you'll notice with this content challenge, we actually made room starting week 2 for you to spend an hour creating your posts, right? And so I'm looking at the time. It took me about 48 minutes to come up with those 5 post concepts. Obviously, you'll go faster because you have this template, you can upload it, you can use the GPT. Even if you're just taking screenshots like I've recommended, you'll be able to create at least 3 valuable posts in an hour and schedule them for the coming week, whether you're using High Level to do that or Buffer, or you're manually going to LinkedIn and hitting schedule. But either way, whatever the strategy is, you want to just get in the habit of the same time each week creating your content. For me, I write emails on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and those emails turn into social posts. So I'll write an email and then, of course, using AI, and it helps that she actually knows how I talk. My wife will go in and actually help me with creating the LinkedIn content. But even if you're still a one person team, start with the LinkedIn content. And as you'll see over time, the LinkedIn content rolls into creating really awesome broadcast emails. So there's a method to this madness. We spend a lot of time trying to figure out like what would help you get started in 30 days, but then you don't want to be burned out and been like, okay, well, that was awesome. Now I'm really tired and I need to take a 3-month break. So setting you up for long-term success. And speaking of long-term success, that's going to be our dream customer upgrade here. So, of course, we already have the basics of who our customer is. Who are they? What's the big result? The big roadblock? And then the second step, or the second kind of stage to creating who your customer is, and don't worry, we're also going to go through LinkedIn. We will go through LinkedIn profiles, because I forgot to do that yesterday. Again, Think First Media, you could do 15 posts before doing 1 YouTube video. Brilliant. Yeah. Well, I'm not patting myself on the back, but absolutely yes, you can do so much more LinkedIn content. These videos take forever, even when they're live streaming. There's no editing. Like all the stuff you're looking at, it took months to put this together. So when it comes to your customer awareness journey, this is something that after you're creating content, after you're posting, you want to start thinking about the journey someone goes through in your niche or industry. So since Think First Media is here, I'm going to use the travel. I want to use the travel niche as an example, but I'll do mine first because I don't know your customers, right? So that's a little difficult to go through. So I'm going to copy this and just ask for an example. Please run. Just ignore me for a moment. Okay, here we go. So GPT is going to explain the customer journey to us with the example we've been going through. Scott is my personal customer avatar. So prepping this for you guys, GPT kept going to my customer profile. I'm like, that's not really going to help with a live stream. So here we go. So when you think about who is engaging with your content and who is ultimately going to purchase your products or services, everyone goes through 3 to 5, buying stages. No, I did not come up with this. Any other guru, I inadvertently call myself a guru. I'm not. Any other marketer who teaches this got this from, I believe it's Eugene Schwartz or Claude Hopkins. And it's the 4 stages of awareness. And so essentially the first stage for almost any offer, niche, or industry is someone being completely unaware. They have a problem, completely unaware. They want to achieve a specific result. And so if we're talking about content creators who want to have a full-time income, the first stage they're in is they've heard about passive income, but they think it's just for influencers or people with huge audiences. They're posting content, maybe getting likes, but not connecting the dots between creating content and what sells. So it's kind of like thinking about, where does someone start on their journey in my niche or industry? So because I'm targeting content creators, I'm targeting people who are already creating content. And so stage number one is, I'm creating content, but I'm not making money. So there's stage one. And so that's really important. When I'm writing posts, I'm going to assume the reader is a content creator or considers themselves a content creator, right? Maybe they only posted like 3 times and they're like, yeah, I'm a content creator. I'm just, getting my ideas down. And you're like, no, you're in analysis paralysis. Just start posting again. But stage one here is going to essentially be someone who's creating content and they're not making money, and they think they need a super large audience to actually start monetizing what they're doing. And then stage number 2 here is they realize the problem isn't a lack of followers, it's a lack of selling. They're not actually selling. There's this misconception, I just create content and then money pops up. There's a lot more work to it. And so once they have that realization, then they start going and exploring ways they can monetize their content. And then they start experimenting with different ways. Maybe they sign up for some affiliate programs. Maybe they try building a funnel. And then all the way to stage 5, which is frustrated. Of course, what they did not work. And inside of our explanation here, there's something called the activation threshold, which I'll get to, which is really important with this. Since we're almost an hour in, I think I can safely say this, and it's not going to be misconstrued. And then, of course, stage number 6, deciding, which is, okay, they've tried essentially all the free solutions. They've tried using free content, free trials, and all the free stuff, and they're like, okay, maybe I should pay for someone to help me, whether it's a $5 offer or a 5,000 coaching program for some reason. They're going to pay to hopefully get the result that they're looking for. Spoiler alert, we're all in the entrepreneur niche where we've all purchased stuff that did not help us at all. Hopefully not for me, but needless to say, not fun when that happens. And so the reason that this is so important to go through, and of course I'm going to come back over here. So if you don't want to use our template, you can go ahead and screenshot this and then ask AI to come up with your customer stages of awareness. The reason this is important is because we need to make content for the correct stage. And so when it comes to social media content, essentially these first 3 stages are where you want to be. And this also ties back into why I say in your content, talk about what to do, not how to do it. Because what to do posts, just bear with me here, what to do posts are valuable even if your audience is lazy, even if they're not doing a thing. What to do posts still gives them that aha moment, still gives a little dopamine drip, and still gives them a sense of encouragement and forward momentum, even if they're just binge watching how to make money online videos and they haven't actually done anything yet. And the reason that this is so important to understand is because I can tell you personally that when you create content for people who are in the experimenting and frustrating stages, you're fighting. You have a much lower reach on social media, and people just do not care because they're not there yet. So as a example, because we have the activation threshold here, in our example, a creator learning how to monetize their content, learning how to be more successful with being a content creator and business owner. Well, when they are exploring, they're in research. When they're exploring, they're in research mode. They go from, I'm making content, things aren't really working, I don't really know why. And so there's just kind of like, there's no, it's called detached. It starts off detached because they haven't really figured out what their issue is. And you can't sell to someone who doesn't know what their issue is. You can create content for them to tell them this is why you're not getting the result that you want. And that's the type of content that pulls someone from detached to roadblock, because they're kind of looking at their content going, I don't really know why I'm making money. But that's different than my content's not making money. So someone who's in the, I don't know, my content will make money someday, or I don't really know why my content's making money. We create content saying, hey, your content's not making money because you don't have funnels, because you don't have offers, because you're not doing brand deals. And that's how we pull someone from, I'll figure it out sometime, to, oh, that's my problem. These are my problems. These are my roadblocks. These are the things getting in the way of what I ultimately want. And then once your viewer identifies what they think they need to fix, key is not what actually needs to be fixed. They identify what they think needs to be fixed. Then they go from roadblocked to exploring. And these are the two phases that you want to create content for on social media. But the key here is they're not actually doing anything productive. They're just researching. They're just thinking. They're just deciding. They're on the sidelines going, I don't know, should I do it? Should I not do it? Maybe I should do it this way. Maybe I should do it that way. And there's a lot of money made right here because people can't figure out what they actually want to do. People can't figure out where to move forward. And once you cross this activation threshold, that means someone's actually physically done something with the information that they've received. So going with our example of you're not making any money, a good roadblocked post would be, five simple ways you can start monetizing your content. And then for exploring, we could say the best way to find affiliate offers, the best way to come up with a digital product offer. But we can't start talking specifically about affiliate offers, product offers, until they know what they are. But they have to learn what they are when they're roadblocked, because they're searching like, okay, my problem is, how do I make money? What's the best way to make money as a content creator? And then they're going to start learning about all the different avenues that they could take. And then once they learn about them, then they'll start exploring a little deeper, saying, okay, how do you actually make money affiliate marketing? How do you actually make money with digital products? But you can't make content saying how to make money with digital products for someone who's over here because they've never heard of digital products before. They haven't gone through the roadblock phase of going through all that content that teaches them all the different options that they have. And then when it comes to YouTube content, because I think YouTube's the last long form place. I know Neil Patel has a lot of content around being successful with blogs, but I'm not an SEO person, and my site got hacked and torpedoed, so I have terrible experience with WordPress and SEO. But when it comes to longer form content on YouTube, all of a sudden you can start creating content with someone who's not just exploring, but actually wants to do something. And this is where a very simple video like how to build a landing page, how to use Go High Level, how to create, let's say, how to create a lead magnet in Canva, right? Those are for people who have actually who've gone through the first three phases and are finally ready to get off their butts and do something. They've finally made a decision like, okay, this is the route I'm going to take. But when you create that how-to style content, it needs to be on a platform that rewards it. And most social media platforms do not reward that type of content. So hopefully that made sense. Let me know if it didn't. But I just wanted to go through that a little more methodically than usual, because when it comes to creating your content, you really want to, this is true for your email content as well. You really want to stay in this realm because it helps you stay focused on what people should do. You're helping them make decisions. You're like the consultant or the guide, right? But you're not getting into the weeds of go here in High Level. This is how you schedule it. Go here in the membership side of things, and this is how you physically build a membership, or this is how you physically write the sales page, right? That type of content lives down here, which we won't get into now since we're focused on social posting. And these types of posts can do really well on YouTube because you have more than 30 seconds to grab attention. You have more than 90 seconds of someone just reading a couple hundred words and then commenting and scrolling on with their day. So hopefully that was helpful. That's the customer awareness journey. And then the once you've used AI to figure that out, you're going to want to have AI, and I've got it. Actually, I think my preview might be cutting a little bit off, but that's okay. So you can go ahead and screenshot this and run it through AI as well. And essentially, you just want to come up with a long laundry list of the things your ideal customer wants to achieve, and then the things your ideal customer thinks are getting in the way. And so I'll just run through a quick example, and then we'll dive into LinkedIn and how you can actually use LinkedIn Post Live to help do this for you. Because AI is just brainstorming, right? AI is just brainstorming for us. So I'm going to say run. And if you start analyzing other people's content, you can actually start getting actual real answers to these and build your own profile that you can be a lot more confident in. So for example, LinkedIn has come up with 5 results for us: 6-figure annual income, freedom manual selling, product market fit clarity, scalability business model. So the issue with these 2 is they're pretty much the same thing. So I would tell AI, hey, these are pretty much the same result, come up with some more. And then if we come down to roadblocks, what's getting in the way of our content creators being more successful: funnel overwhelm, tech confusion, offer uncertainty, content burnout, no clear strategy. Okay, cool. So if we think about the order of problems, the order of roadblocks, the first one would be no clear strategy. The second one would be, I would say, revenue model uncertainty, even though revenue model probably isn't something a new content creator is thinking about. And then we would go to tech confusion and funnel overwhelm. Too many options. I think I could see how it's different. But I think I would ask AI to come up with some alternatives for these 2, because they're a little too nebulous for creating content. And you're not going to create content talking about tech confusion, or you may do 1 post on funnel overwhelm, but you're not going to get more than 1 or 2 posts out of that. So I would ask for some alternatives there. However, these 3 definitely are related to our audience. And so that covers, if I jump back over here, that covers the psychographics 1, where you're just coming up with a list of results and roadblocks your ideal customers care about. If you find, you can also ask, you can't ask GPT to do this anymore because Gemini and Reddit have a deal. But if you have access to Gemini, you can hop over to Gemini. You can take a screenshot of this, right? And ask it to search Reddit for quotes from your ideal customers talking about their problems and results. So it essentially, Google pays Reddit an obscene amount of money to scrape Reddit. So you can go over there, and it's like a form. You get quotes from real people, or approximate quotes from real people. It's not a direct one-to-one, right? Like they're not actually taking exact quotes, but Gemini has that information where GPT does not. So just a little bonus for you there. GPT used to, though. I think Reddit found out what they were doing and blocked them. So the most common questions I kind of get out of this process, I'll get to you in a moment, think first, is, okay, if I'm having AI generate all this for me, how do I know if it's right? Right? Like, how do you know if it's right? Great question. So, it's so silly. What you can do is go over to LinkedIn, X, Facebook, Instagram, and because you need text for this. That's good to know because Google do not scrape Reddit. Yeah. So what you can do, I've actually queued up, if you want to really dive into LinkedIn, Justin Welsh is the guy to follow. I've left an affiliate link to his course in the description. I took it. It was very helpful kind of getting up to speed. Obviously, we have our own course on creating the actual content, but his course is much more about how the LinkedIn the LinkedIn platform itself works, and creating a strategy specifically for LinkedIn. So, apologize there. That probably should have checked that before I. Anyway, we'll keep going. And so what you can do is find some people in your niche, or find some people in your niche. But for LinkedIn, Justin Welch has an awesome course linked up in the description. That's affiliate offer, of course. So that means I receive a commission if you decide to buy it. This Richard Vanderbloom, he has a lot of great content on how to create content for LinkedIn. There are a lot of people who create content on how to be successful on LinkedIn, and reading through all of them, I've tended to like his approach the most, especially because he seems to do a pretty good job of also integrating some personality into his content. Whereas some of them, it's just like here we go. It's all, now I can't find it. It's all like infographics like this, which are great, but you do need people to start to connect with you personally as well. It's the point of social media. And then some other ones to follow. Matt Barker does a lot of great content on how to be successful on LinkedIn. Obviously, I can't endorse his. I shouldn't say that. That's mean. I haven't taken his paid trainings like I did for Justin Welch, but I just look at his content and go, it was very helpful to me, so it might be helpful to you as well. And then Matt Gray, I just like he's in the content creation entrepreneur space. He's scaled companies to millions upon millions. And he's also a kind of, if you're looking for what's kind of like top tier content in terms of writing and creating relatively simple but really deep dive pieces of graphics, then he would be the one. Now, I also show this because you can see with his graphics, he's literally just writing things out. And so I think it's a great place to learn how do you take a lot of information and put it in a way where people actually want to engage with it. Please stop showing that. I'm not trying to blast people's names on a live stream. Okay. And then, of course, finally, in terms of my niche and what I'll try and show you in a moment is Neil Patel. I think he does a really good job of taking relatively boring information. And I mean, he sells to essentially Fortune 500 companies doing marketing. So he's not at all, he's completely left the how to make money online niche, which I think was a good step for his brand. But in terms of kind of understanding how do you take relatively boring information and make it somewhat engaging, right? Because it's just a bunch of SEO data a lot, or analytics from their AI surveys. And so I would recommend those in terms of just kind of helping you get started with your content journey. But the other advantage here too, Neil is wow. Yeah, I think he's probably I know there's a lot of other, famous entrepreneurs, but I think he's definitely in the top 5 for me in terms of social entrepreneur influencers, and certainly the most underrated. But I think that also lends to the fact he's not hypey. Even when he had like a course, accelerated income, like how to make 6 figures or something like that in 2018. Even the marketing for that was pretty tame compared to something you might see from some other famous gurus with Lambos in their garage. So the process of finding a profile in your niche that creates good content is something that you'll manually have to do. Please don't rely on AI to find good content for you. You definitely need to go to the platform itself, go to X itself, go to LinkedIn itself. I'm streaming live, so I'm definitely not going to click on X. I don't want to deal with that. I'm going to blur out half the stuff that pops up. But on LinkedIn, we're going to be safe for the live stream. So what you can do if you want to understand your audience, and I don't think you can sort. So you can't really sort by number of likes. But what you can do is scroll down and see what is kind of the average number of likes and comments this account gets, and then see if you can find an outlier. And 900, 900, 900. Okay, so, oh no, that's 500, 1200. And so I'm just looking at the number of comments here to see if I can find one that seems to be more than usual. So 1500 comments on this one seems to be pretty good. So, and 5,000 reactions. So I think that's pretty, so this seems to be a bit of a breakout post. So what I'll do is I will copy this text. I am in no way, shape, or form saying that you should copy other people's stuff. And he didn't even make this image. O.Natty on Instagram. So Nati. So what we can do is we'll copy that text, and we can say please pull out the results and roadblocks addressed in this post from Justin Welsh. Cool. So what we're doing is we're taking other people's content that his audience, which is would be close to our profile that we have here. So we know this content works. This content spoke to the audience that we want to speak to. And so we're saying, hey, AI, what are the results in there? What are the roadblocks in there? And so you can see here, it's pulled out some desired results. It's pulled out some big fears. And then we could also ask it, what stage of the customer journey was this post designed for, right? Forgot the N, or D. Anyway, and so you can see here, it says it was designed for roadblocked. Here's why. And then it explains. So what we're doing is we're going to, LinkedIn, X, whatever you're thinking, finding successful creators in our niche or similar to our niche. We're dropping in their content and we're asking AI to analyze it, not so we can copy their stuff. Copying their stuff is not going to help you, but so we can understand who they're speaking to. And if you really want to get ninja, we can go ahead and open up comments here. And, oops, that is, gosh dang it. Now I got to scroll and find it. Okay. You're going to see how long is Jason's memory? Here we go. Is this the one? It looks similar. Yes, here we go. So we'll go ahead and click on comments. And you can do this on YouTube as well. In fact, I literally did this last night when I was analyzing for a new tutorial I'm working on. And so load more comments. We're gonna scroll down here, load more comments. I'll only do this a couple more times. So this is the old school method. This is what you used to do before AI. You would have to physically read all these and pull out relevant quotes. But we'll go ahead and stop here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of these. So we'll keep going. Obviously, if you're like in a private Discord or community, you probably shouldn't be taking that content, but just keep in mind that I don't have a problem with this because this is all public information. And so maybe I got too many comments because it's taking a while. There we go. So I'll go ahead and copy all that text. It'll be a mess. And I'll say, these are the comments from the post. Please assess the percentage of people in each stage of the customer awareness journey. Then pull out the results, roadblocks, then give me the top 5, then analyze. Okay, so here's what we did. Oops, scroll, scroll, scroll. There we go. Even with AI, there's still a lot of manual stuff. Here we go. Okay. So what I said here is these are the comments from the post. Please assess the percentage of people in each stage of the customer awareness journey. Then pull out the results and roadblocks. I ask for all of them. Then give me the top 5. Then analyze and ask me 5 strategy questions that I should consider for creating my own content and crafting my own customer profile. So now we've gone from just having AI use the prompts provided to you to generate, some random results, some random roadblocks, to actual real world data. And so remember, these are actual real people. And so you can see here that bam, thank you. The majority of people are in roadblocked and solution aware, which is what I call, which is what I call exploring. So the majority of the people are roadblocked and exploring. And you can see that if we're thinking of like a bell curve, right? The majority of the people are in the center, very few are detached, and then very few are product or most aware. So if this is the audience of people I think I want to go after, I'm going to spend a couple of hours, and you should spend a couple of hours copying tons and tons and tons of comments, just like feed AI the data. AI is not allowed to go scrape all these places individually, but you can copy and paste it into AI all day long. And so we get this percentage and go, okay, so 55% are roadblocked. So we should probably make a lot of content that speaks to that specific part of our customer journey. Now, what's really cool is we defined what roadblock meant to us, right? So as AI is analyzing it, if we scroll, I won't scroll back up because there's so much, but if we scroll back up and look at what we defined as roadblocked for our customer journey, we've said this is our definition of roadblocked. And AI has gone out, analyzed, and said most people fit this definition. And so even if Justin, who's a really smart guy, defines roadblocked as something completely different, doesn't matter. We've already set our definition. And so even if our definition is off, even if what we think is roadblocked is actually exploring, or what we think is exploring is actually roadblocked, that doesn't matter, because we've set our specific definitions for each stage, and now we're analyzing it based upon our internal definitions, and we don't have to worry about being wrong anymore, which is really cool. And so we can look at our results being desired, roadblocks being faced, and then top 5. So unfortunately, AI went ahead and summarized it anyway. We wanted everything, but that's okay. But essentially, we can start seeing what people actually care about. And now when we go write our posts in the future, we, of course, you would save this to your customer profile, right? So you'd save all this information to your customer profile. You'd save your top results and roadblocks. And then next time you create some content, you upload your Google Doc or your notes, and then you're off to the races. AI is actually creating content for that specific audience member in person, and you're not falling into the trap of copying other people's content, right? Because when I go to create a post in the future, I'm not looking at Justin Welsh's content. Because we analyzed who's engaging and commenting, or I'm not looking at, like, if I jump over to Neil's, like, I would do the same thing. Obviously, he doesn't get as many comments, but I would do the same thing with Neil's audience. So I'm not trying to copy Neil's content. I'm trying to speak to Neil's audience, right? And there's room for multiple creators. So number one, we're not copying. And then number two, we're speaking to the people that matter, as opposed to copying other people's content and hoping that that's going to connect. Because at the end of the day, we don't know how well this post did economically. We don't know how well this post did for him compared to other posts, because we only have the public metrics. But if we stay focused on our customer and who we're creating the content for, then we're going to be much more successful long-term creating our own content and learning. And so then it came up with, 5 strategy questions here. So how will you address the gap between I know I need to act and I'm ready to act? How will you visually and emotionally show that fear is a compass, not a warning sign? How you reframe comfort as the real cost, the bigger money. And then can you segment your messaging so the roadblock group feels seen, but the solution aware group feels guided into your specific method? Number 5 is going to be probably the most important, because when you try and speak to 2 audiences of people, you get nowhere. So you're going to have to choose. Some posts I do roadblocked, some posts I do specific method, or I do solution aware, which is exploring. And in terms of your customer journey, you're probably going to, you're most likely your niche is going to be the same. Most people are in roadblocked, most people are in solution aware or exploring, and you're going to have to choose your mix of posts. When you try and speak to more than one person in a post, it doesn't work out too well. So you'll just have to mix it up. So I'm looking at our time because we actually started on time. I really did spend an hour and 20 minutes talking. So I ran out of time to go through specific examples. I do apologize for that. Think first, but hopefully now that you're in the community, we can go through that on a workflow call in the future. And I'll just go ahead and scroll back up here and jump over to the live. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them now, because this is day number 4 this week for me, so I am quite tired. But I genuinely hope that you are getting some value out of what we are doing here. Here we go. And I'm just reading your comments. Great use of AI. I love the strategy. Awesome. I'm glad you do think first. It's all about finding the relevant information we can feed to AI so it can process and analyze it. And it is really cool that we do not have to physically read every single comment. I'm telling you, like when I first started learning about how to do copywriting properly, that was the most common thing. Go to forums and read what people are actually saying. And so you'd go to forums, you'd read what people are actually saying. I had a notebook and I'm physically writing it down. I'm looking for phrases that are constantly used. And so this is just so much faster, and it allows us to iterate so much more. And remember, as you get this information from AI, save it to your spreadsheets, your Google Doc, your documents, your Notion, or whatever you use, so that you have your own database of information, and you can always feed it back to AI in the future to essentially work on your content for you. And so don't assume that AI is going to remember everything that you talked about. That's surefire way to get really frustrated with it really quick. And so looking at the comments here, it looks like we're going to go ahead and wrap up for the week. And I think I had one from Think First that I missed. Long form content versus short form content. X is stuff because people don't often go backwards if they miss your tweet that it's on. LinkedIn and YouTube can be excellent for long form content. All right. Yeah. So at LinkedIn, definitely you can upload shorts now. So I guess it's longer than a post. And so thank you for the hearts. And as always, just let me know if you have any questions. A big shout out and thank you again to Go High Level for sponsoring this entire series. You can check them out via the link in the description. When you sign up via our link, you get the 30-day free trial, which is extended, along with access to our private community, live workflow calls that will be starting next week. They're kicking off next week again. And of course, all of our templates and snapshots. So whether you're building a funnel, whether you're working on product creation, or just starting from scratch, we made sure that the systems we have in there guide you through every step of the process, and you can copy as much as physically possible from our systems and my brain via GPTs and actual templates. So with that, it doesn't look like I have any other questions. I was just kind of stalling to see if any other questions came in. So thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to Think First, and thank you to Kevin for tuning in and actually commenting. And thank you to all of you who just tune in the background, even if you don't comment. It's awesome to see that there are people actually watching, and I sincerely hope that you got some value out of this. We will be back Monday. However, we are going to move this back, and I think we're going to move this back an hour. Even though this time has seemed to work pretty well, I think it's a little early for the Pacific Standard Time. So we're going to try moving it back an hour again, see how that goes. And just keep bringing your questions. Check out the link in the description. And until the next, keep building the business you love. Take care.